Again, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, so this could be a really bad idea.
We may have traded the Arizona desert for the pines, but one project made the trip with us. It had been waiting since last year.
We're progressing through this bathroom, and it's about time that we install the duct cover here. And what we're going to be using is kind of an architectural styled one, which embeds into the drywall and installs kind of like this.
Unfortunately, the manufacturers of the rectangular one don't make a square option like this, so I had to engineer and print it myself. The reason why I like this style versus the standard ones you can buy at the hardware store is just the aesthetics of it, really. Most of the ones at the hardware store are made for blowing into a room. They've got louvers, and we don't need that. All we need to do is have a hole for the air to be sucked out of a bathroom.
Okay, let's get started. I decided to go in black so it disappear better. So far, it's been 7 hours and 55 minutes of printing. This is the behind cover, not the finished cover that gets painted.
It did take 27 hours to print this vent cover, and I definitely think it's worth it because it's going to match what we did in the other bathroom. I'm a perfectionist. I really like things to look nice. I felt like a rectangle on a ceiling isn't quite as attractive as either a circle or a square. I wanted it to be a little smaller, make it unobtrusive so you didn't really notice it. A nice dark shadow line so you don't see everything holding the front panel on. It just looks clean, like the panel's floating. I wanted it to be cleanable, so I used magnets in there to hold the flat panel on. Installation was slightly more than I was hoping for.
That is the one disadvantage of this style of cover. It has a flange, and so you have to build up the material to cover the flange. That means you do have more buildup here. I did try to cut out some of the material so it wouldn't be as thick, but it means that this section of the ceiling sticks down maybe 1/8 or 1/4 inch more than the other areas. This is a very bad idea to keep working at this much. It's going to start to dry on me, and then it'll just not finish very well. So you need to just leave it alone. One thing about doing drywall is it doesn't necessarily take a lot of time, but it takes a lot of days. So I'm up here again, just trying to finish this stupid thing off. I'm going to use some regular drywall joint compound. This stuff just came out of a fresh box and it looks very coarse. So I'm going to have to thin it out so that it doesn't look so lumpy. Anytime you get fresh joint compound, you're going to want to mix it up, because when it comes straight out of the box, it was all clumpy and lumpy, and it just doesn't work very well that way. Won't be very smooth. I didn't thin this out much, but it's definitely a little soft. It's all right. Now I've heard these little blister bubbles show up because this is a painted surface. I didn't sand it all back or prime it or anything. Maybe I should have, but I just want this to be done. What I'm going to try to do is use a sponge to knock down the high points. I have a piece of dense foam that was like for packing, and I'm just going to see if I can wet this and get it to rub the compound around enough to make it smoother-ish. And that knocked that bump right off. I'm not making a big dusty mess like normal with drywall. So really kind of nice. Yeah, it's looking like this might just work. A better spray ball would be handy, but I couldn't find any. I am going to use a little bit of a sandpaper block here. I was trying to avoid it, but I still have a little bit of a harsh edge where this texture meets my infill, or my, patch. So I'm just going to lightly sand this perimeter. One trick that I've heard for drywall is if you run your hand against it, you can almost see more of the blemishes and things than you can with your own eyes. Your hands are incredibly sensitive and the ability to pick up the smallest little problems. So that's why you see woodworkers, drywallers just kind of running their hands across stuff. The old texture is what they call a skip trowel. I haven't done this before, so if I'm doing it wrong, I guess let me know constructive criticism in the comments on what I could do better. I just mixed a small tray, and as you can tell, it's pretty thick. Hopefully it's the right consistency. Again, I've never done this before, so wish me luck. What I understand is you put just a little bit on your trowel, like that maybe. Dab it and run with it. It should, oh, maybe it's too dry. I think it's too dry, like it's not even sticking. So now I need to add water. Come on. Well, it's not coming off cleanly on my trowel, so I guess that's sort of a good sign that it's sanded enough that it's skipping. Add a little bit of water. It's definitely a lot thinner here. Hopefully that'll be good. The other thing I can do, I don't know if this is a good or bad idea to promote adhesion, since I did sand it, is maybe either wipe it off with a wet towel or just get it a little moist. Again, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, so this could be a really bad idea. Part of my theory on this is I want the mud to hit and skip and run and do what it's supposed to do. And if this is too dry, then it feels like it would just pull the moisture out of the texture and dry it off too soon. So we'll see how bad of an idea that was. Okay, so let's just get a little mud on there. I'm going to kind of go with a non-smooth application. I'm going to do it really flat. I'm just going to kind of, it looks like the previous installer kind of went in a circular-ish pattern. So I'm just going to do the same thing. This is going to make a mess everywhere, but that's okay. This is looking really good. I'm very happy with it so far. I mean, it's not like I'm totally in love with this type of texture, but I feel like I'm applying it very similarly to the previous. I'm probably overworking it. And there's these sections here that are getting pretty big, so I'm probably just putting on too much material there. Actually, this is really cool. Again, not that I love this kind of texture, but I'm glad I can finally accomplish it. Wow. That's the trick. Sand. Huh, there you go. Don't overthink it, I guess is the thing I keep trying to tell myself. I'm just gonna mask off the room because we have the new floors and I just don't really want to have to clean up a bunch of paint. The pre-tape stuff is pretty nice. As long as it doesn't stick to itself, you're doing good. The nice thing about it is it's pre-taped. So you just kind of put it on there and call it good. The bathrooms are hard to tape because you got stuff you're not supposed to stand on, and there's stuff on every wall. So I'm assuming I'm probably gonna have to repaint this whole ceiling. That's pretty good there. We just got the initial layer of the plastic around, just basic, simple. I'm going to break out the PVA paint. When you have fresh drywall, there's a certain kind of primer that you want to use. It's called PVA primer. There's some ridges and things in the ceiling which do sort of match the previous, but I'm thinking if I just run my brush along, I can soften up that drywall texture just enough to kind of smooth this out a little bit. I don't love that I'm doing it with a brush because I'm getting brush strokes, but it's just got to get done. Let's get some sushi on the ceiling. That's the name of this paint.